Let's talk big story. That wasn't even the big story. All right, now's the big story. Now, when we talk about gun violence on this show, I almost always get this kind of question right here. This one came from Marty. He emailed me recently and asked, what weapons are being used? Are the guns acquired legally? How are kids getting guns? And what's being done to reduce the accessibility to firearms? So the answer is complicated, right? Because America has a lot of guns, and there are a lot of ways for people to get guns. Legal ways, illegal ways, and in ways that seem like they're from the script of a movie, like this bust announced today. Multnomah County deputies found 337 guns at a home in Clackamas County. They found handguns, rifles, high-capacity magazines. And in another bust in Gresham back in June, they found machine guns, like real machine guns. This is a Browning M1919, a 30 cal, fully operational. It works. You just pull the trigger and that chain of bullets will go flying through the gun. I mean, you could take a helicopter down with this thing. So to partially answer Marty's question, people who can't own a gun or buy one legally could get one from that guy, I guess. So deputies, they did a good thing. This is the biggest bust in department history. But again, in this country, there are already plenty of guns in the hands of the wrong people. So let's take a quick look at just the past few days around here. This morning, about 5 a.m., a shooting in Northeast killed 2 people and injured 3 more. No arrests. Yesterday morning, a man got shot in Kenton. No arrests. On Sunday, around dinner time, a man was shot and killed on a TriMet bus. No arrests. And on Saturday, a man was found dead in Southeast, and 3 more people were injured in 3 different shootings that night. As far as we know at this point, no one's been arrested in those cases either. Does it sound like police are busy, like they got some stuff to do? I mean, the cases just keep coming. They're piling up. More cases, fewer cops. You do the math. In the last 6 weeks, since the beginning of July, we've averaged 30 shootings a week. We are now at 58 homicides right now. That's about 1 every 4 days. And we still have August and September and October and November and December to go to before the year's out. Remember last year, we had 55 in 2020, and everybody was like, wow, can you believe that number? Well, we've already passed that. At this point, we are on pace to surpass our deadliest year ever, which was 70 homicides in 1987. And I know we just threw a ton of stats at you and a bunch of numbers at you, and it's easy to get kind of bogged down by all that. But these are real people getting hurt and dying. And I'm not talking about, criminals, bad guys shooting back and forth. There are people getting caught in the crossfire. We talked with a woman today who says her mother and grandmother were both injured in a shooting this morning.
She has a bullet in her arm, like towards her wristish, kind of. My grandma, she ended up getting grazed in the head with the bullet. She ended up getting some stitches.
This morning, when people were just out walking to the bus, going to run errands, caught up in that. So what are we going to do? Well, police say for them to do what they want to do, they need more money and more public support. 2 things that receded a bit in 2020, you could say. And while this argument hasn't found much sympathy from the crowd that defunded the police or from the people who supported the nightly protests to abolish them entirely, they have found an ally in someone who they often butt heads with, the district attorney.
What do we want from our police in this community? Which for me is, can we have enough detectives to work gun crimes? Because right now, the police are so overtaxed, the detectives are so overtaxed in that area, they're running from shooting to shooting, and when they pick one up, they put one down. And we need them to work those cases and have the resources to work those cases. And let's fund that. Let's get them the resources that they need to do what we need, and let's stop doing the things that this community doesn't want them to do. Because I think that puts them in a tough situation when they're asked to do everything, but everybody's angry at them for one reason or another.
So we're refunding the police. But how do we fund the police working our gun crimes? Well, we could have a gun crimes unit, right? Don't we have one of those? I think we had one, and then we get rid of it. And I thought we got one back, but it's hard to keep track of the whole thing. It's very confusing, and it's why I thought it would be important tonight to explain how we got here.
Portland's been trying to figure out the best way to deal with gun violence for a while now. So how did we get here? For years, the Police Bureau had the Gang Enforcement Team, pretty self-explanatory. Back in March 2018, an audit into that unit found it was disproportionately targeting black Portlanders during traffic stops and wasn't necessarily focusing on suspected gang members. So, that fall, the Police Bureau rebranded the unit into the Gun Violence Reduction Team. Basically, instead of focusing on gangs, the team would take on all gun violence in the city. In May 2019, Commissioner Joanne Hardesty urged the police chief at the time, Danielle Outlaw, to scrap the team. She wanted to direct the money to the Fire Bureau and Parks and Rec. Days later, Chief Outlaw defended the unit and pointed to statistics suggesting it was having a positive effect. But last June, amid protests over the death of George Floyd and police brutality, the city decided to disband the team. However, since then, shootings have spiked in Portland. So, in February, police formed a new gun violence unit called the Enhanced Community Safety Teams. In April, Mayor Ted Wheeler pushed for funding to dedicate even more officers to gun violence, but the rest of the city council wanted something different. So, they passed a $6 million plan to tackle gun violence, with the money going to community groups and unarmed park rangers. None of that money went to Portland police. But the Bureau decided to dedicate existing resources to create another team to respond to gun violence, called the Focused Intervention Team. This team will try to prevent shootings before they happen, while the Enhanced Community Safety Team responds to them afterwards. And that's how we got here.
And here we are. So we just need to beef up and fund the Focused Intervention Team, or whatever they're calling it now, except for one major problem. No one wants the job. In mid-July, the Oregonian published a story that officers are reluctant to join the team. This group is supposed to fight gun violence by patrolling the streets and working with police intelligence to, quote, interrupt the cycle of violence. Back in April, they said it would take about 30 to 45 days to set that up. And maybe you have a calendar nearby. Ask Alexa the date. It's been longer than that. They needed 2 sergeants and 12 officers to fill the team. And as of last month, they only had 3 interested people. 3. So again, it's clear this is about more than money. Earlier this year, we aired a special episode of the story called Understanding Gun Violence. It looks at the factors behind Portland's historic rise in shootings, the impact it's having on families and communities, and possible solutions. You can watch it now on KGW's YouTube channel.